Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of the DC Alliance podcast here at the GUA. Of course, I am your host, Clay, and today, like any other day, my co-host, Travis. How you doing, man?
Pretty good, Clay. Enjoying my summer so far. A little slow in terms of DC content the last few days, but as someone who enjoys everything, we were getting a lot of Marvel. So excited for our guys over at Marvel Alliance getting to review Black Widow this weekend. New movie. We'll have a new movie in a month, so excited for that. Our first one together. But besides that, a little sad to hear about Richard Donner today.
Yeah,
Obviously,
and I think we, of course, we don't know the guy personally. He doesn't know us, but we'll dedicate this episode to Richard Donner. Before we get into all the paperwork and stuff, Richard Donner, I said it on Twitter today. Without Richard Donner, I don't think I would have appreciated Superman as much as I did. Yeah, my dad is like a huge Superman fan, and he's the one that like showed me who Superman is. But there's the tagline that goes along with the poster that we have in the background today is you'd believe a man can fly. And it's true. Like with the way that film was made for the time that it was made, like just a pure, just like amazement. And he really is a legend. Now, of course, there is a lot more that he has done other than Superman 1 and 2. You have Conspiracy Theory, you have Goonies, you have
Lethal Weapons,
Yeah.
all of them. You have
Yeah.
The Omen. You have one of my personal favorites that don't get talked about a lot, Maverick. I love that one.
Oh
With Mel
yeah,
Gibson.
I forgot about that one.
I enjoy that one. It's sad, but like you said, first of all, he'll live on forever in not only his works but all comic book movies going forward. Sure, for example, Kevin Feige says that they used the Superman movie as a blueprint, especially early on in the Marvel movies, for what to do. And the same thing with Patty Jenkins said with her Wonder Woman. She used Superman as a blueprint, and I was one of those films that you really love. Probably the saddest moment, arguably the saddest moment in the movie gets reversed. Time gets reversed, and that doesn't happen. So it's a very happy movie. And it's just, I remember seeing it and being so blown away. I didn't think there was anything to do with wires. I had no idea as a little kid how that even worked. And it was
I told because a little bit of a spoiler for future episodes on the comic book rundown for rundown reviews. I'm actually going to be there, I believe, in like August or September, doing the Donner cut. We went ahead and recorded, and I told them that there's only two scenes that I remember, like right off the bat, whenever it comes to Superman the movie. The first is when he spins and goes into the sewers, and you see the freaking flamethrowers and the bullets and everything, and he just like, that is Superman. Like, he is invincible, and I think that was a really cool way to show that. And then, of course, the second one that I always think about after that, oh shoot, what did I say? I'm losing it now that I'm actually thinking about it.
You got me, who got you?
No. So there's that, and then not the spinning in time. Which one is it? Oh man, I honestly can't remember. It's like the two things that I always remember in that movie, and I'm just like blanking on it now. That's really, really sad. I think no, because that's the second one. General, care to step outside, which is not in the Donner cut.
No,
that line is not in the Donner cut, and I told them that line is so much better than the line that they used. But man, like just Superman in general, with Reeves, the casting and everything else, Donner did a great job, just an excellent job. And I know it took 26 years, 24, 25 years for the Donner cut to come out, but it finally did. And I'm so glad that it did, you know?
If there was Twitter and internet back when he made it, that definitely would have came out earlier.
For sure.
We have proof of that. But yeah, I agree, Clay. It's sad. Like I said, like you said, there's a lot, not including Superman. But of course, Superman is probably Superman or Goonies. Actually, probably the Goonies. Ooh, that's a tough one. Actually, no, yeah, Superman. I say Superman's one he'll arguably be remembered for forever, but his pantheon of movies, I mean, he's made a lot of and made a lot of people happy. So it's sad, but like I said, he had a long life, 91.
Yeah, 91 years old.
Had some
Insane.
great moments and made some great things that'll live forever. So sad times, but I guess we'll move forward and have you do the network plug because I don't have to do it.
Of course, the GOA network. We are a ad-supported network as well as a listener-supported network. We have a plethora of shows. I believe 9 shows in total. Starting the week off on Mondays, of course, we have Chris Balga over at I almost said Weird Science. No, World's Finest True Believers, which this week's episode was with Tony, who is actually my co-host for Ranger Alliance. They reviewed one of my favorite books almost of all time when it comes to Superman. It is Superman Earth 1, Volume 1. Great story. And it was way out of the box. That is a story of like Superman. For me, whenever he like decides to leave Smallville or whatever, it's something that like you wouldn't expect Clark to do. And he becomes a scientist. He plays professional football. He plays baseball. Like he does all of these things that, nowadays when we see Clark is almost taught not to do, not to show off or do whatever, but it really shows this Clark that's like, hey, I can do these things, so why not use those things, Yeah. So really cool story. I recommend reading it and then listening to Chris and Tony's show. Then, of course, every Monday night here on the Geekverse podcast YouTube channel, we go live just like we are right now, and we drop on Tuesdays. Wednesdays is now your day, Travis, with the superhero discussions. Right now, you are doing Rick and Morty, which is unfortunately a show that I do not watch. Everybody's told me to watch it. It's so
good. It's so
I don't know.
good,
It took me a long time to get into The Office, which is a show that everybody told me to watch.
Let me rephrase it. It's not nearly as long after you get through the first season because it only really starts getting good after that. In my opinion, it finds itself. This show, after the 3rd or 4th episode, knows exactly what it is, and it is fantastic.
I will have to try. I think I've maybe heard one episode in the background at like a friend's house a while back, but clearly before 2020. But
Barry has it on in the background in Justice League.
Yeah, but you don't hear anything,
No.
I know Rick's voice and I know Morty's voice. That's basically it. Because of commercials and all sorts of stuff. So I don't know. I might give it a try. Of course, after that is Katie's Day on Thursday with a slice of film and Star Wars Alliance. I just recently finished the Rising Storm novel, which is part of the High Republic books that have just recently started to come out. Oh my gosh, the ending crushed me. And I believe I may actually be on Star Wars Alliance either this week. I believe it's this week, and we're going to be doing a review of that book, me, Katie, and I believe a surprise guest. So I'm not going to announce that. So there is that. And then, of course, on this week particularly, Wednesday night is the going live of Marvel Alliance, right?
Yep. For Loki, for the Loki show.
For Loki. And then it will drop on Friday. And then Friday night, they're going to be going live again for the Black Widow review. And then that will actually drop on Saturday. So remember those 2 days, Wednesday and Friday, one for Loki, one for Black Widow. Now, of course, there is going to be, well, not there is, but we have separate shows on your iTunes. I know I'm tripping all over my words today. There is actually a DC Alliance and a Marvel Alliance separate from the GOA if you want to listen to those separately. But if you care to listen to, of course, all of these shows that I named, go ahead and keep listening on GOA, as well as I forgot to mention my boy Jim over on the weekends, Marvel and DC Roundup. He's doing a great job over there. A little shout out to him and his manga podcast as well. He has been crushing it over there. So if you want to go listen to him, Weird Science Manga podcast as well. But we also have a Patreon that only costs $1. Now, if you want to actually listen to Patreon exclusive content, that will be $5. But just to help us out, help keep our lantern rings charged, you can just give us $1. $5 will actually give you the exclusive content. We have several individuals in the GOA that are trying to plan, some comic book reviews and stuff like that. Don't know exactly when that is going on. Right now, this week is super busy, and I'm so glad I don't have school this week. You said you're on break for the summer. I found out that with the way my school works, 2.5 years, it's not a full 4 years. I only have 1 week for every season off. So I have 1 week for spring, 1 week for summer, 1 week for fall, and 1 week for winter. And I only have 4 weeks off of school. It's
tough.
Whew, it's gonna be rough for sure. But that is all of the paperwork.
Okay. Thank God. It was so hard to keep a straight face because the one thing you forgot of all the things you forgot,
What did I forget?
Ranger Alliance.
Did I forget Ranger Alliance? Of course, Ranger Alliance is on Mondays as well. I keep forgetting that.
I really didn't want to say anything because it was your podcast,
hilarious.
and I was like, "Will he get to the end?"
I know,
and not remember. And I'm just here.
Thankfully, it's my own podcast. And I didn't forget anybody else's.
No, you forget. That's the funniest thing.
Of course, Tony, Joe, and freaking Nate that are listening to this are like, "Man, why you forget about us?" I didn't, guys. I didn't forget about you guys. It's just we have every other Monday that World's Finest does not have.
And World's Finest was out this week, so
yes. So next week it will actually be the start of Tony's month. So Tony is going to be co-hosting with me, and that's going to be a blast. We're getting near the end of season 1. We have a surprise review of something Power Rangers related at the end of season 1. I don't think I've told any of the co-hosts that, but there's that little nugget there. Ooh. Chris says, haha, we all do it from time to time. I have been scatterbrained all day. I will not lie. So,
and that's especially why he had to do the intro just for an even better time. Obviously, we all, like Chris said, we all do that. It was just really hard to keep a straight face. I was like, is he going to realize he forgot his own podcast, of all the things? Because that's just funny. I'd feel bad if I forgot your podcast if I did it out myself. But if it's my own, I just laugh like you did. So it was really funny, I got to say. I guess we'll get into the show, Clay. Not a big lot of news, so I guess we'll start off with the unfortunate news that we got today about Richard Donner passing. We did touch on it earlier, but I just want to talk about some of our favorite moments from his Superman movie, especially the first one. I'll throw the Donner cut as well, but I'm going to be honest with you, it's hard for me. I haven't been so long since I saw the Donner cut. It's hard for me to distinguish between the two.
Just think of all the nonsensical funny stuff that was in the original theatrical cut and cut it out.
Okay,
that's basically it. Okay. So for me, like I said, the point where he's drilling down into the sewers and he gets all the flamethrowers and bullets and stuff, that is something that I always remember from the first movie. Of course, there is the just the presence of Marlon Brando in the first one as well. I always just remember his voice, his echoing voice. Just a great casting there as well. But for me personally, for the Donner cut, I always remember the crazy White House scene. So there's a scene where Zod, Nan, and Ursa, they fly to the White House, and they massacre like 20 people. And it's not just like, oh, it's implied. No, at one point, Zod actually gets one of the assault rifles from a military guy and shoots everybody while laughing. It was kind of surprising to see that in what was a PG-13 movie at the time. And I think I lost Travis. Oh, look at that. But I was just telling, oh, look, Joe's in the chat now. He says that the Donner cut was really great. We just recently did a review dropping later in the year, I think September or August, one of the two. But we had a really fun time recording that, not knowing that Donner had passed away. I don't know, because usually when they post that, you know, a certain celebrity has passed away or anything, they usually say, oh, so and so died and it was like a few days ago. So yes, without the Donner cut, we don't get the Snyder cut. That is very, very true. It's a conversation that we actually had in Rundown Reviews. You know, when Donner wanted his cut released or anything, or when other people found out that there was more footage, they didn't have the internet. They didn't have this giant void to just like reach out to. They had to go and talk to their neighbors. They had to put, you know, columns in their local newspaper. You know, they had to do random stuff that was very from us in our age is kind of like, what's the word I'm looking for? We're kind of detached from that since we've had, you know, technology for so long, like advanced technology.
It's not
for
nearly
so
as
long.
easy to rally people or
No,
gather
no,
sentiment.
not back then anyway, for
No.
sure. But you know, like I said before, it's something that I will always remember. Richard Donner actually has, if people are interested, he has several Superman comics. Like they may be like one shots, but he does have them. I believe there's one in the 80th anniversary of Superman or 75th anniversary. I can't remember which one. But he has a couple stories that have actually been put out in comic book form. If you guys are wanting to check those out, I'm sure they are on the DC Universe app. So
the Marlon Brando point is it's huge because like it's smart. I know Christopher Reeve is on record saying like he didn't really care and wish he would have been more like I don't know, about just happy with the role. Seems like Brando just grabbed the money and ran. But after he did it, like he didn't care. But just that casting was smart, just for the terms of bringing people in, and the more people that saw it got the heart of the film. It was such a great film, and everything he shot, like I said, all the shooting with him flying, it all worked so well. The budget, I know it was expensive, but it was all different. Like I can't even imagine trying to make that way back then, and then look at how it's become now. But you look at like Man of Steel's first flight, just the difference is just crazy.
yes, Chris Balga says Last Son was great. Yes, I have that as actually one of the answers to your question today. And I will say, you're probably wondering, how did you get that without it being a part of the Trinity? Little tease at the question, but I found a loophole. So there is that. But with that, the next thing on the docket for what we have tonight, let's actually see here. What do we have next, Travis?
Superman and Lois are wrapping production.
Yes, you sent me a post of, I always forget her name. Shoot, what is her name? Her name is, it's the actress who plays Elizabeth Tulloch.
Elizabeth Tulloch, yeah.
Tulloch. She posted a photo of the Superman and Lois mug and says, last day of filming on season 1 of Superman and Lois. Thank you to our incredible crew, writers, producers, cast of our fam of steel. Now, there was also a post that I believe was shared by, oh my gosh, I forgot the actor's name, Kavanaugh, right? Yeah. He is directing the last episode, the finale episode of this season. And people are seeing that in the background is Tyler, and his Superman suit is like all bloody. Now, I don't know. Have you completely caught up on Superman and
No, not
Lois?
even close. Not even
Oh
close.
man,
Oh yeah,
Travis,
that's
you
the
need to
thought.
catch up.
I still got time. I still got time. We're reviewing the finale on the 15th when we also
Well,
give it
you
on
you
the on the I guess we'll be reviewing the finale on the 12th, I think it is.
yes,
So
you are now on break, so you now have time to catch up.
I had some
Um,
Rick and Morty I had to catch up on last week, so that's what I did. But 2 weeks ago, that was the thing. And then my Friday was I can't even begin to explain what I had to watch for Comic Book Rundown because Flash Gordon was a balls tripping madness.
Chris says that it comes back on August 14th.
No, July 14th.
July 14th.
And
Sorry.
ends, yeah.
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 So I am excited to see this finale. Unlike other shows, well, I can't really say that. I can't really say that just because this is its first season. It could drop the ball. It could not. But my hopes is that it doesn't. I've already said before that some of the story is kind of eye rolling to me, and I'll get more into detail of that when we actually review the show. But overall, I'm still enjoying the aesthetic. I'm really enjoying the way the show is put together. I'm schooling some kids over on TikTok about how Superman is being portrayed in this film or in this show. So it's really, really enjoyable. But speaking of wrapping filming, there is something else that is wrapping here pretty soon. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson posted on Instagram just the other day saying, "This coming week is the big one, our final week of production for the filming of Black Adam. All the training, the diet, almost 2 years of character, story, and production prep, all accumulated to the next week." That's a little bit of a lie there, Dwayne. 2 years. Try about freaking 17.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. No, I mean technically it's like 8 years, 9 years.
Joe, you and I have different on the
Opinions
word,
on Flash Gordon.
or on the word masterpiece, I guess.
So Black Adam is almost done. As of right now, we have, including Black Adam, we have 6 DC superhero shows or movies in production. Because the Batman, that's something that we didn't actually talk about last week. The Batman went back for reshoots, or not reshoots, but pickups.
Pickups, yeah.
Yes. So the Batman did pickups. Black Adam is filming. The Flash is filming. Aquaman is filming. Shazam is filming. And there's one more. Shoot. What else? What is else? There's one more that
The
I
Batman?
feel. No, I already said the Batman. There's Batman, Shazam,
Aquaman.
Flash, Black Adam, Aquaman. I feel like there's one more. What am I missing? Am I missing one? I don't think so, right? Maybe? I thought there were 6.
I think there is, Clay. I think we are missing one. Unfortunately.
Maybe superhero pets?
We're not. I'm not. Well, that's not.
I mean,
one
it's a
that I
movie.
have.
It's a
Yeah.
movie. But
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
I don't know. Regardless. So I'm excited about this. I'm really surprised they were able to film this entire film without a single look at the Black Adam's costume. How was that possible?
I don't know. That's like actually, I do know. The Rock said, if this leaks, I will find out who did it, and I will give you the rock bottom. And that's all you need to say. Especially, he's in superhero shape right now. Like, yeah, okay, sir. Whatever you say.
I don't know. Like, there had to be. Well, I don't know, because Brosnan also said that like his suit is going to be CGI, so maybe majority of this, like, that maybe they, and I know this isn't a dig, I'm just stating facts. There was several, and there is several Marvel movies that a majority of like outside scenes are all CGI, including the Loki show. So maybe all those outside scenes were in a studio instead of outside. Nothing on what do they call it? They call it on. Man, I'm losing all sorts of brain function today. I can't think of any words or phrases or anything. But let's move on to one of the most exciting news of this week. I posted it to you. I think I posted it to the GOA chat first, and then I posted it to you.
To Young Justice.
Young Justice news. Was not expecting this news whatsoever. It says on the Young Justice Wiki Twitter account that just posted this, there was a what was the source on this? The source on this was a
I got it here.
it looks like an old chat room. This is weird, but other people like Daniel RPK did retweet this. Some reliable scoopers were retweeting this. So it says, a bigger budget indeed. All 26 episodes of Young Justice Phantoms are being entirely animated by Studio Miro,
who's done
this
Voltron.
studio animated episodes 2 and 16 of The Outsiders. They have animated shows such as Korra, Voltron, The Witcher, Nightmare of the Wolf, and Dota Dragon's Blood. I can tell you right now, seeing Legend of Korra and Voltron on that first list of that studio sold me. Sold. If you have not watched Voltron on Netflix, there is something wrong with your life, your entire life. Not just like, hey, maybe I should, think about some things. No, your entire life is in question. Go watch Voltron. It is a masterpiece. See, Joe can say whatever he wants about Flash Gordon. Voltron is a masterpiece. Whenever it comes to animation, go check it out. 100%.
I'm questioning my life now.
Yes, Travis, you should question your entire life. So
that hit hard.
Joe says, after the next set of DC movies gets released, should DC put a hold on other movies coming out so they can start over or just continue on as they are now? So that is going to be, oh man, I don't know if I should say. Let's just say I will answer that at the end of the podcast.
Ooh.
There's a little something there that we have planned that we can maybe talk about, but I will definitely answer that question later. So I am super excited about Studio Miro being the head animation studio for Young Justice. How do you feel about this?
I love this. I can't wait for more Young Justice, Clay. I need it. I need it now, to be honest with you. What
year? I want to say it's been 4 years. It has been 3 years. It's been 3 years since Outsiders.
No, it hasn't been that long, has it?
Yes, 2018.
Whoa.
2018. It has been 3 years since we got Outsiders. It has almost been the exact same amount. So, well, not exact same. Well, maybe. Hold on. Young Justice. Let's look at this real quick. Young Justice came out. Young Justice season 1, I believe, came out in 2010. Okay, so 2010 was season 1. 2010 was season 1. Let's look at season 2 just real quick. Season 2 debuted. Let's see here.
It's been spread out probably the most of any anime.
Okay, so seasons 1 and 2 were, because this will be technically season 3. I mean season 4, right?
4, yeah.
Yeah. So Young Justice was from 2010 to 2012, right? So
Yeah.
that is 2 years. Then we look at Outsiders. Outsiders was released, not episode. Jesus, people, come on. Outsiders. I can't type today. I don't know what is wrong with my brain. Probably the fact that I'm wearing this beanie in the middle of summer, but my hair is kind of crazy, so I don't want to do anything with it. Original part one. No, okay. So it looks like 2019. So
Yeah, I was
not
gonna say.
2018. So it was January of 2019. So it's been 2 years. It's been 2 years since we had Outsiders, but it's been 7 years since season 2 to season 3. We are like not at the halfway point, but it just feels like that, dude. Like I
Halfway
personally,
point of what?
from what it was from season 2 to season 3, I'm being over dramatic because I
Oh.
really want this show. And the
You're
reason
right.
why is when they announced Outsiders, I thought this was the rebirth of Young Justice, saying, hey, we have Outsiders and we're working on more. It doesn't really seem like they started working on Phantoms until after the season was over.
Are you are you shocked in that? That's what I'm trying to think about.
I'm a little now
You're
again.
shocked. It came from DC Universe that was folding and didn't know if it was going to stay, didn't know what shows HBO Max was going to pick up and take, and what shows it was going to let, like Swamp Thing, die on the sword. And we found out pretty much after the show ended. So they had ideas. They said that beforehand. I
But
guess.
at the same time, I feel, again, this is WB. This is on par with me every single week. I have to complain about something, and I have to mention their stupidity about something. I believe 2019, we were getting animation in other streaming services at that point, not just on DC Universe. Whenever it comes to just like normal animation, like Netflix was getting Castlevania, just
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. Voltron was getting close to ending. Hulu had. Does Hulu have anything as far as animation, like original animation? I don't think so, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I believe animation was having another rebirth, and that's why I was thinking, oh man, Young Justice is gonna be a part of this rebirth and really be able to, to flare and to really turn into something. Hoping that DC Universe would have been like, WB, I don't know what we are doing with the DC Universe app, but just in case, take this show. That's what I was hoping. But again, this is WB we're talking about. So
It's not even WB more so than it's just waiting to see the dust settle, see the numbers, and you got to do all that stuff. They do that. Netflix doesn't really often like greenlight another season until they get the first look at Juniper's or Jupiter's Landing or whatever nonsense that was called. That had to go with first week numbers and then toilet it.
Jupiter's Legacy. That's
Yeah,
the one.
sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah, this normally I can get behind your complaints, especially with WB. But for this, I think that they're probably working pretty quickly, considering when we got the last episode was in August 27th of 2019, so it has been less than 2 years.
Yeah.
And we will get it probably by the end of the year. We'll see something at DC Universe, DC Fandom. I mean, we'll see something there for sure.
I'm hoping that it's at the end of the year, kind of like maybe right after Titans. Because wasn't that the same? Well, no, it was the other way around. I think it was Young Justice and then Titans on DC Universe.
Right. I think it was half of Young Justice, Titans, half.
That's
Young
right.
Justice was broken up.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
because it was split up. That's right.
It's probably the best animated show before Invincible came around. In my opinion, just for all ages, like could hit everybody. I still think
yes, for sure.
And I have my 10-year-olds now. Obviously, people I'm just talking about from PG-13 onward because I think PG-13 can even watch Invincible because it's just like it's no different if you turn on a Mortal Kombat game. If you're asking me, really.
Yeah, I mean, everybody parents their children differently. Not
Oh,
going to
yeah.
judge whatsoever.
Oh, same. But
But
Clay, let's take our first ad break after that Young Justice discussion, and we haven't taken one yet. I'm pretty sure.
oh no, we haven't. Good
Uh,
call.
we don't pick the ads or the volume, so we're going to give you a quick 3 count to adjust your volume, and we'll be back shortly. 3, 2, 1, and we're back.
The next thing on the docket, we got some random casting news for the Green Lantern HBO Max show. We got Sinestro. Thal Sinestro has been cast. I do not recognize this individual from anything, but a lot of people actually were really excited about this. Tobias Menzies. I how do you pronounce that last name? Because that's a question.
Oh, it's a mouthful. I'm trying to look it up here now to see if it got. No, it does not have it. It does not have the actual pronunciation. I wish it would have. I'm gonna give it a crack. Tobias Menzies.
Menzies, okay.
Yeah.
So he is going to be Thal Sinestro in the Green Lantern series. Now, a lot of people, I feel like this is another one of those productions that are like, maybe it's still going to happen, maybe it won't. I feel like this is enough down the rabbit hole to say that this is a for sure thing.
Yeah. Well, they didn't come out and squash this. He was in Game of Thrones as Idmir Tully.
Okay.
So he was great in that. I assume he'll be great in this too. He has big shoes to fill with Mark Strong's Sinestro performance.
Yes,
Even
I
in
will.
that movie,
I will say that was
the
by
best part.
far the best casting that DC has ever done for their movies. Like, sorry, like
Yes.
I love Henry. I freaking love Ben Affleck as Batman. Love Gal as Wonder Woman, but Strong as freaking Sinestro was probably the best thing. Now,
Chris meant that for Tobias, but that can also be applied to Mark Strong for Sinestro.
now there was, oh shoot, what is his name? The guy from Lord of the Rings. Is it Lord of the Rings? I want to say it was from no, The Hobbit. There's an actor from The Hobbit. He recently played Gaston on the live action Beauty and the Beast. He was a fan favorite for a lot of individuals as far as Sinestro. Let me actually look that one up.
Oh, we don't do the individuals for their fan casting and stuff. That people fan casted Tyrese for Green Lantern. Like,
oh no. So
very rarely does that actually happen. Where everyone's like, if in that case, Charlie Hunnam, I'm waiting for your Green Arrow call because you've been fan casted by everyone.
Luke Evans. So I'm going to share with you this right now.
Where is it?
Everybody wanted Luke Evans to be Sinestro. I would have been A-okay with this casting. He has been a villain before. Ironically, he has been a villain in the much memed Fast and Furious franchise. I believe he was the villain of 6 or 7, maybe 7. I think it was 7. Travis, do you remember? I believe he was the villain of either Fast and the Furious 7 or 8.
This sharing screens on a behind the scenes look is causing everything to freeze up for me.
Oh, okay. Well, I will go ahead and cut that out really quickly. But yeah, he has a face of Sinestro. Like even with the like very thin mustache, he has the look of a Sinestro. And I believe it was Boss Logic as well. Boss Logic did a fan edit of Evans for he did the he
You're sharing your screen, causes everything to freeze up.
Well, I won't do that anymore. So Luke Evans actually, I was saying Boss Logic did a fan edit of him as Sinestro, and he looked really, really good. So he was a really good fan casting that I kind of hoped would maybe be in the runnings, but we never really got anybody that would like. Usually with big villains or big uh, castings in any movie, really, we always get like a lineup. We haven't really gotten that in a while. I think the last really lineup for heroes or villains was Pattinson for Batman. And you can say, oh, that's more important than a Sinestro or a Green Lantern. But I would, you need to have people talking about your show, right? Or your movie. So I don't know why we haven't had more of those kinds of conversations.
What do you mean?
Well, no, just like this whole casting for Sinestro, right? We didn't really have like a list that and I'm not saying it happens all the time. I'm just saying that every once in a while you'll have a scooper like a Daniel RPK or
I don't
Justin.
think the scoopers deem this role important enough to chase it daily to say like there's these people. It's not like Batman. Like you got that with Batman. It's not even in. I know you don't like to hear that.
Well, no,
Batman
like
comics, but it's not in the names. It's in the stratosphere.
I'm not saying that Sinestro is as big as Batman, but as far as like, because this show, I feel like some people might forget about it every once in a while until we have news on it, right? Because it's so sporadic. To have those conversations keep going, to be, I would say, in not necessarily trending, but still regurgitated news, I would say, hey, you need to have these.
It's hard when you've never seen anything from it or anything like that to like just get names on a casting of something. That'd be like same thing Krypton or anything like watching any of these. I don't like same with DC Universe. I didn't know any of the casts for Titans until basically we got there. And I think it's no different here. You're not like after first season, you'll build your fan base and you see where you go from here. I don't think that it's like the same thing. And I don't think you can build a big enough conversation from a Green Lantern show on potential castings as much as you can go from potential Superman or Batman or bigger character castings that you can do that. But with a show like this, I don't think it will work to generate enough like clickbait, if I'm being honest with you.
That's true. Maybe
that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at like ideally, you're right. You like it to be discussed, but in terms of this world where it's so clickbaity, I don't think that anyone cares as much. Now, after the first season, when you got this fan base there, all these conversations can happen because you'll have this built-in fan base for this show specifically.
For the show specifically, but if we were to say like a Green Lantern. Is it Green Lantern? No, Green Lantern Corps is the show.
Yeah.
The Green Lantern movie, I think we will get like a list.
We're not even going to talk about that.
I know, no. I'm just saying.
No, I mean DC. There's no way. I don't trust this movie to get made until they're actually filming. Like we have movies being. The only reason I believe these movies that are being made now
is because they're in production.
Because they're filming.
If
they were in pre-production, I still wouldn't believe the movie was being made until it actually gets in production, where I can see faces getting pictured in suits and stuff. That's how bad it's gotten. Where Kevin Feige can stand up on a stage and tell me movies that are going to happen 7 years from now, and I know they're going to happen.
Believe him. Yeah.
I'm like, oh, this is going to be. I can speculate. This is going to be so cool. We're going to get this and this. And here I'm like, oh my god, I can't wait for this Nightwing movie. Oh yeah, the guy who supposedly was supposed to direct the Nightwing movie.
Oh my gosh, Chris McKay is like, maybe it's still going to happen.
It's basically still here begging for.
No. Sorry, dude, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, so it's frustrating at times, but like I said, I couldn't be more excited.
One news story this week that I'm about to talk about right now frustrated the ever-living hell out of me. And I'll tell you why after I finish talking about it. But James Gunn revealed that there was other villains considered for the Suicide Squad movie. The list includes Livewire, Man-Bat, Chemo, KGB's Knockout, Gunhawk, Mr. Freeze, Killer Frost, Deathstroke, Black Spider, Solomon Grundy, Punch and Julie, and the Rainbow Creature. The source was James Gunn himself.
He did an AMA kind of thing on Instagram.
And I saw so many people so many people complaining, oh my gosh, why didn't he put Deathstroke in this movie? Oh my gosh, why didn't he put Deathstroke in this movie? We could have had a Deathstroke in the Suicide Squad. Why do we have to have Sportsmaster or whoever the hell's in this movie? And why not we just have a Deathstroke movie?
Clay, you gotta start
stupid.
using the block button, man, because I don't see any of this stuff that really gets you frustrated. And it's just like all I saw was
Because
holy crap, these are some cool selections, and they
because
would be so interesting.
here is the problem with even that. James Gunn chose his villains very wisely. And I will tell you why he did not put Deathstroke in this movie. Because under no circumstances would WB or DC say, hey, yeah, Deathstroke can be in the line of fire and possibly die in a Suicide Squad movie.
What? You think the WB that you trash so rigorously, so on the regular, you think that they had the foresight
They
enough?
wouldn't let Batman go down on Catwoman. They're not going to let Deathstroke.
Clay, they didn't use Deathstroke. He's been on the shelf. They wouldn't put him in a freaking $40 million movie.
They've used him in Arrow. They've used him in Titans. He was barely in Batman versus Superman, and he was also in Zack Snyder's Justice League.
He wasn't in Batman versus Superman,
wasn't he? Oh no, sorry, that's the Justice League. Sorry, he was at the end credit scene of Justice League.
He was, but no, he's not. No, they
but
they don't have the foresight.
Either way, even if maybe not even, let's say not even WB, DC. Let's say DC has some sort of control over any of these characters, right? Because it's their IP.
Well, you're first of all, you're basically telling, you're saying that you think James Gunn is a complete liar because he said, and I quote, and everyone around the whole movie said, he had free reign to pick any characters he want, do anything he want. He could play in DC sandbox and could kill any character. That's what they said. Now, I believe it. I don't know in terms of Margot Robbie, but besides Margot Robbie, I think he could kill any character around there, and I don't think it matters one bit. I think he could do whatever he wants.
If there is one door that is locked, there is probably a second door that you don't know that is locked.
I don't even think.
Do you think Viola Davis is going to die in Suicide Squad?
I don't think she's an awesome character, and I want to tell more stories with her.
I don't think two doors locked.
No. I think he could personally. Actually, I think he could kill anybody. But why would you want to kill Harley Quinn when you could maybe go off and make a movie with her after? Because he talked about being interested in do that
multiverse.
But I just don't think. I don't understand why you think that they won't let Deathstroke be in this movie, but they're never going to use him for anything else. They have him on shelf
because that's how stupid WB will be.
But James Gunn wouldn't come play ball with him, Clay. If he was in a version of the script.
If he already had the movie, if he was already signed contract and had money in pocket, why would he then be like, "Oh, I'm not getting Deathstroke. I'm gonna leave"? Like,
I just think that I don't think this is. I think after coming off of Justice League, I think there's zero.
You need to zero. Regardless zero. Of just Deathstroke, you need villains that you can kill off.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
These villains, Mr. Freeze, you're not killing. Solomon Grundy, he's already dead. Pointless. Livewire, not enough people know about Livewire. And I always think of Livewire as a Superman villain anyway, so I just think it's weird. Man-Bat, maybe. But there's Black Spider is basically the villain Spider-Man in DC.
Yeah.
He was in I think last season of Outsiders, Young Justice, for like maybe an episode, maybe two.
Yeah, I think he gets crushed by a rock.
Yeah, from Terra. Yeah,
and same thing in Under Red Hood. He's defeated. I think is that him or maybe that's not him. Actually,
no, that's not him. That's not him.
He's in Assault on Arkham.
Yes, yes, he is. But yeah, I just think that like everybody getting their panties in a wad for Deathstroke, like, calm the fuck down. Like, Why would you want him in a Suicide Squad movie? He was
Uh,
in the first lineup of the Suicide Squad in the New 52. That squad didn't do so well. They actually changed the lineup after like what 12 issues. It wasn't selling. Like, sorry.
that's not even why I like. Why I wouldn't want him in this. These are the characters that I wouldn't want in James Gunn's Suicide Squad. Mr. Freeze, Deathstroke, and that's it. That's it. Because I think they're too serious of characters to be in that kind of environment. I don't see. In what I enjoy most, I think they're more serious characters that don't joke very often at all. But the other ones, I think you could kill. I think your point is very good about some of these being not well known enough to kill. But like, I don't know about the guy that you pulled off the arm. I don't remember his name still. Nathan Fillion's playing.
Yeah. I can't remember his name off the top of my head.
But yeah, like I don't remember him either. But I gotta say, like you said, I think he's whatever ones he want to kill, whatever ones he want to pick, long as he can kill them. Like I want to see, like I don't want to see just 2 or 3 people die, like the last Suicide Squad. Like you get rid of Slipknot, who we all know we haven't seen him in any of the promotions throughout the whole thing. And that's one thing I gotta say. Most of these guys have been given the same amount of promotion. Like we obviously Peacemaker is given a little bit more because we're getting a movie from a Peacekeeper, but like there's for the rest of them, like pretty much
Peacemaker,
all of them.
not Keeper.
Yeah, Peacemaker. Yeah, sorry,
Yeah.
I was right the first time. Never second guess yourself. Never second guess yourself.
No, but this whole thing, that's personally how I see it. I see it as like, hey, you don't use Deathstroke just to be like, hey, here's a name. Because that is Harley Quinn.
And that's why it kind of makes me like I thought that if you thought anything, it would be WB being like, yeah, use this name, bring more people in, like come on, use it instead of like don't use it, don't like you know what I mean. I figured they'd try everything to bring in, but I hope that James Gunn was allowed to make the movie. I'm really excited for this movie actually, Clay, and he talks about it more and more. We got our first look at Peacemaker to go along with this.
Yes, we did. Now, I didn't share it.
That's okay. It's only one picture because it'll close. It'll cause me to be like everything. No.
There was something else that came up earlier today. I don't remember what account it was under. Oh, right here. So there is a I think this is just some random account on Twitter that is now, you know how people make like, hey, this is a Superman account, or hey, this is a Wonder Woman account, or whatever. Somebody made a Peacemaker account and said, no, it's a prequel, and took a screenshot of what looks like a quote from an article, which I believe is Empire Magazine. And Gunn says, this isn't merely an origin story.
That doesn't make any sense then. He said, no, it's a prequel.
Yes, but the statement is like, this isn't just any origin story. This is Peacemaker's origin story. You know, Gunn is saying, hey, this is an origin story, but it isn't.
It's hard to tell from just the words.
But people are upset that this is a prequel, possibly, because this isn't technically confirmation or anything. I haven't read the Empire article, just because I'm not subscribed to Empire Magazine. But how would you feel if it was a prequel? Like if we got his origin, like his legitimate origin? Because I feel like even if it was
people mad because they think that he's going to die in the Suicide
Squad, I think that's why people are a little upset, because he has the possibility of dying.
There could be a second season taking place after the events of the Suicide Squad as well. Like you don't know.
I think that like what you could do is you could make a sequel to the Suicide Squad and still have an episode or two talking about his origin.
Or you could have
because
him
a
at the end of.
flashback is very much possible.
He could get out of the task force at the end of this movie, and then, like I said, at the end of the first season of Peacemaker, we pick up with him right in the exact same spot.
Maybe, yeah,
That could
for
be a
sure.
possibility. I'm not anticipating this show, but I will watch it when it does come out.
Again, we have both been kind of iffy on this
I like
character.
John Cena. I like John Cena though as an
Yeah,
actor.
John
so.
Cena as a actor
As a
has
comedic
gotten a
actor,
lot
sorry.
better. Has
Comedic.
gotten he has gotten a lot better since his Marine days.
Oh my god, yes.
Oh man, I still remember seeing that in theaters. It was horrible. But he has gotten better. Just the way these trailers are portraying him as like the douchey Captain America, but also very like, I don't know, is very adolescent in his vocabulary. Is not very.
Oh, yeah. That doesn't appeal with me either. The dick
Yeah,
jokes.
it isn't appealing to me. But again, some of these trailers are out of context.
I need to
Maybe
see the character in the full movie before we'll make it. When we review this movie, listeners, we'll talk about if we're excited for Peacemaker going forward.
yes. Now, before we get onto our final conversation in news, let's go ahead and take our. I'm not going to say final ad break because I'm not entirely sure how.
It
Could very well be our final ad break, but we will be back in 3, 2, 1, and we are back. So there was something that came out very quickly, and I say very quickly because just as quick as it was on the internet, it seemed to just disappear on the internet.
Yeah.
It looks like some fandom footage.
That's what I thought it was, Clay. Basically, it's Ezra Miller and Andy Muschietti talking about the Flash movie and Flash's powers. It was very interesting to me listening to Ezra talk about him because he basically talked about how it was dumbed down and simplified into what people think. It's just he's really fast, but then he got into all the physics and mechanics of it all.
Yeah, I mean,
that one thing giving him so many more powers.
Everybody was really excited about how like Urza seemed very excited about the movie. He had a kind of light in this small behind the scenes footage of talking about the Flash and multiple Batmen, or however there's multiple Batmans or Batmen in this film. There was a comment that again could be out of context, but in this whole ordeal, Andy Muschietti then starts to talk about how there is a half-powered alien,
solar-powered alien, and two idiots.
Solar-powered alien and two idiots. Now he says two idiots, but on the screen, whenever this video showed up, you would see the Flash, you would see Michael Keaton's Batman, and then you saw this yellow caution sign that says spoiler alert every single time he showed up. Now you can say the two idiots are the Flash and whoever this is, or some people were saying, hey, the other idiot is Michael Keaton because he is not familiar with whatever universe they're going to be in throughout this whole story of Flashpoint.
I just thought it was Michael Keaton anyway. I just thought they were the two idiots.
Yeah, I just don't like, and again, out of context, people say that Andy Muschietti sometimes can be, sarcastic or attempt to be funny in his interviews. So maybe it's just humor that I'm not getting, but just how monotone he was talking about everything. It's like, yeah, there's this solar-powered alien and two idiots. And I'm just like, well, why do I want to see that movie? You know, you're gonna call apparently the greatest Batman that ever lived an idiot. Why do I want to watch it?
Oh my god, you're so woke.
I'm just saying.
You're really like I gotta check. I just want to see his English his first language first because I'm very curious.
I don't believe it is.
Well, I think that
isn't he?
I think
Uh, I want to say
Argentina. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, I think maybe some translation might be the reason why you might be missing out on the
And you
joke.
might be right,
Yeah,
but
I think
again,
I actually
bad
let me
choice
rephrase
of
that. I
words.
think well, no, I think that you looking into what he's saying when he's going from his not his regular language to something else to
Yes.
English. I think that's where you get your trouble. You get that a lot of times in sports when we have like players from other countries, like in Europe, that give interviews in their own native language, and then it gets translated to English. And a lot of times they're getting crap for it for things that they said that they didn't even mean to say. It was a bad translation, or they didn't when they were speaking in English, they didn't get the right words. So that can very well be here. So I think just because we just got a little snippet of that, that's not even supposed to be what we're seeing. So who knows how that was put together? That's just
True.
I
But
just
there
think
was some
I'm gonna give him benefit of doubt until now. If he says it like you said, if I get the context for it and it doesn't make me agree, I'll be a little disappointed. But
of course there wasn't any footage in here. There was a lot of concept art.
yeah,
There was the Batcave. We saw the Batmobile. We saw the Flash throwing a whole bunch of babies into the air.
that's something that I gotta ask you. That looks so. That was something that put me off compared to the rest. I was just like,
So
what?
I made a joke. I made a joke with the GOA chat saying that this is Barry going to that hospital event where Wonder Woman is going to be, and it's not actually going to be Wonder Woman. It's actually going to be set in our universe with Gal Gadot dressed up as Wonder Woman, and Urza's going to be like, "Fuck you, Gal Gadot," and he's going to like just throw all the children out into the freaking street. That's got to be it, you know. That totally makes sense.
Yeah,
But it was a wild looking like concept art. Like
I can't wait for
he
fandom to
does look
see this.
one thing that I feel even in Brent, I know you probably appreciate the look of this concept art a lot more than his traditional suit that we have in the DCU right now. But in that concept art, he does get the yellow boots and he does have a new suit. But even looking at that one scene where you actually get a good look at his face and it has a little bit, more detail than all the other Flash, like front and center, his suit, I do not believe translates in live action. Like, even, and people may like want to freaking flip a table at this. We always complained in the earlier seasons of the Flash TV series, right? Oh, well, it's not necessarily red, or it looks weird if it's leather, and people just didn't understand that, hey, this is what the CW does, you know? But then later on in the series of the CW Flash, we actually got a red suit. We got the yellow background on the emblem. We started to get the more traditional Flash look, right? And I still think some of the mesh that the CW Flash uses, although it looks better than the leather, still doesn't really, it is a TV costume. I will say that. And so maybe with a bigger budget, it could help. But even looking at this concept, I'm like, is that going to look good? Like, I'm afraid that the Flash costume may be one of those costumes that you just can't adapt into a live action and make it look good.
I don't know if that's the case. I don't want to like handicap from concept art, and like you said, this is arguably DC's biggest movie in years. So I don't think that they're going to have him looking awful on screen. Now you might get a thing of maybe some CGI touch ups, or I don't know, but I don't think it's gonna look bad. I really, maybe it does. I could be wrong. Like I said, we'll get our first look, but that'll be what determines it for me, because however it looks in like just a still photo, it can be done. It can be touched up and made look a lot better in the movie.
Now, my question to you, because even we saw other scoopers. We saw Casey Walsh. We saw Justin, as well as Daniel RPK, all confirm, yes, that was fandom footage. If I am Andy Muschietti and or WB and DC, I am scrapping that and getting a whole new video for fandom.
You don't even need to do a video. You can just do a trailer, like actual good trailer, and you don't have
Yes,
to.
but again,
I don't need to. I don't need to see
post-production-
Ezra, but I don't need to see Ezra talking about the forces and stuff like that. Like you can scrap that and just go with an actual.
See, you don't, but I do think, and you can agree, your opinion is valid. I think that the charm of Ezra Miller is his quirkiness. So I think having him in some sort of behind the scenes footage, having that interview type will get people excited, because people were like, even again, my Twitter handle, Fanboy Clay, if you want to, yell at me, do whatever. Even some of the hardcore Snyder people were saying, I'm really excited that Urza is excited, but I'm not going to see this film because of all the stupid whatever drama that they want to create in their brain. But people were recognizing that he was happy, right?
I think that you're right, actually, just because not even about him. I'm glad he's happy in that, but he was arguably one of the most featured for the Justice League promotion.
Yes.
And I can honestly see that it can, it can bring in general audience people. I think there's a fine line you can toe with that too, because he can go off on some weird tangents. But yeah, you're right. His quirkiness is his thing. So I kind of agree with you there, Clay. You're kind of.
I think that they kind of have to do another behind the scenes.
When I stopped and thought
But
about
change the
Justice
footage.
League too, he was doing pranks with Ray Fisher, and he was featured in a lot of behind the scenes stuff. So yeah, I think that I thought it looked cool, but like you said, I think I agree with you. Maybe not lose the interviews per se, like just the words that Machete and Ezra say, but throw some different looks at us, throw some stuff that's already finished instead of what you showed us like that. I wouldn't want to see that at fandom, just the concept art. Show me some actual, like, gee, you're going to be done filming by fandom, I would imagine.
Okay, so I'm going to talk about this one little thing, but while I do, I need you to go into the GUA chat and look what Chris just posted and see if you want to talk about it, because it may be something in the future, but I don't know. To answer your question, Joe, your question was, after the next set of DC movies gets released, should DC put a hold on other movies coming out so they can start over or just continue as they are now?
No, we don't, because it's just
No?
a little thing from Space Jam.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't see what it was before. Okay.
Yeah.
Don't worry, people. It was almost DC related, but
yeah,
kind of.
Well, actually, yes, but kind of to what we're talking about. Yeah.
So I will say there is a possible grain of salt plot leak from A to Z of The Flash. There are some things in here. We won't go over everything because, like I said, grain of salt. But I will say it looks like there may be a little bit of Flashpoint paradox kind of vibes, as if anybody has seen the animated movie. So there's that, and because of that, we may see the disappearance of more than one actor that is portraying a character in the DCEU. That is what I'm getting from what this plot leak looks like. Like I said, this is an A to Z thing, but it's a very grain of salt. The source for this is 4chan. I do think that some people, like, nowadays Reddit does get flagged for things and they will take stuff down. So people are going back to old school type chat rooms to just throw out stuff out there, so it's harder to find. I don't know, like I said, grain of salt. But to answer your question, Joe, I think WB, because things can change in a year from now. And a year from now, we're, Warner Brothers Discovery. And Zaslav could decide, hey, we're scrapping everything. But with this film, it does look like we're going to be moving forward with whatever new line of story that this is going to be moving forward. That's what I think.
I don't know, because I trust these things as much as I trust Grace Randolph, so which is little to none. You might get it right 1 out of 100 times. But from what I read, some of it was interesting, some of it wasn't. If it's a clean slate after this movie's over, like you said before, there's new people coming in, so they could just go on and do whatever they want, or keep it the way it is, or go back, or there's so many different options. I hope that that's not right, just because I hope I didn't read the things that are going to happen in the movie to myself. But even though I did enjoy them, a lot of them. So
again, these are we're not going to say anything, because for one, Travis Snell did say that he did not want to read it, so that's why I said I wasn't going to read it on air. But I will say that these are only plot points. There's a lot that could happen from point A to point B, as far as watching a film. So, okay, how do you get from point A to point B, And I think when it comes to plot leaks, you can kind of get the vibe of the film, but watching it will be an entirely different experience. So that's why I'm not too afraid to read some of this stuff, because I'm just okay, so I can kind of see if any of my guesses from freaking set photos were true, kind of thing. But other than that, I will see this movie and I'll be like, okay, hey, that was right. But holy shit, how we got there was even more crazy,
I've never had that happen to me, where I've read what's going to happen before I went into it. So I haven't had that, oh my God, and then had it. But I can imagine it goes either that way. How did we get from here to here? Or, oh my God, I can't believe I've read that. God dang it, I ruined it for myself. I assume if you're really in deep with the movies, you'll go with the how do we get from point A to point B. But people who just watch, general audience people, I can see being really pissed off if they ruin themselves.
Oh, you know what? I will say this now that it's been several years. I did that to myself on Endgame.
Yeah, that's why I don't like diving deep into stuff, especially when this is a highly anticipated movie. But it is interesting some of the stuff.
Thankfully, I didn't see the Mjolnir scene, but I saw the beginning of the portal scene. I want to say 2 weeks before I saw the movie. So it was a while, and I was like, no. But I went down a rabbit hole. I chose to do it, so it was my fault. So with this plot leak, for me, it's just okay, it's out there. It could be by Joe Schmo, or it could actually be somebody who knows something, and we will just see in a year's time. Right?
Yeah. Personally, I think they would make a YouTube channel and do things instead of just putting it here to try to monetize it in some way.
Yes. As far as that leaked footage, by the way, that we were all going crazy about this past weekend, or I guess the almost 2 days after we recorded the last time. Good luck trying to find that video. I want to say thank you to Brent for giving me that video. He was able to give it to me.
Well, now, Brent, you have 5 minutes before they will come knock down your doors and storm your place and jail you up. So Clay will send you a gift card from to the prison. But
excuse me, FBI. Hey, I have this leaked footage of the of Fandom. If you care. Oh, you don't? Okay, cool. Bye. Come on now.
Poor Brent.
Come on now.
FBI's most wanted.
What is WB? WB can't freaking count how many letters are in Fandom, so I don't really care. But let's go ahead and go to listener questions. I reached out into the interwebs and on Twitter to see if we had any questions. Little bit of a slow week, with the Young Justice news. Brent asked us, "Are you staying whelmed, Travis? Are you staying whelmed?"
I'm staying well, as Nightwing would say. I
You
just
feeling
can't
the
wait.
aster?
I can't wait for this show. Like you said before, I can't wait to review it. I can't wait to talk about it in every episode. Oh my god! And there's no restrictions on streaming service like it was before. Yes, can't wait for it. Yes, Brent, I'm whelmed. I'm maximum whelmed.
Brent, as whelmed as I am as whelmed as I could possibly be, but there wasn't much stupidity from WB this week, so thankful for that. But, knowing them, that could change at any moment. So who knows? Number 2, the question Chris sent was pick one of your favorite DC heroes and one of your favorite DC villains. And what are your top 3 comic book stories featuring each one? The heroes can't be any version of the Trinity, and the villains can't be any version of Lex Luthor, Joker, Darkseid, or Warner Brothers. Damn you, Chris.
Chris with the difficult one. Do you want me to?
So you go first with your hero. I will go for my hero. Then you do your villain, and then I'll do my villain.
Well, when Chris sets the parameters of it can't be the Trinity, and you're asking me for DC, well, I think anyone that listens know where I'm going to go with this.
Oh no, who could it possibly be?
I have his mug, of course. It's the Emerald Archer, the Green Arrow, of course. There's 3 stories I could think of right off the bat, which is year 1. Fantastic. Okay. Quiver, Kevin Smith's very good story, in my opinion, and way to bring Green Arrow back if you ever want to do a revival season. And Lion-Bow Hunters, of course, probably the best story with Green Arrow. Those
really?
are my 3. Yeah.
I don't know about that.
In my opinion, anyway. Just
they
were good
stories.
How long ago it was made, it still reads good. Whereas back when it was first came out, it was like, oh my god. So,
yeah. Of course, my number 2 hero in the DC universe would be Nightwing. My number 1 story for Nightwing is Battle of the Cowl. I absolutely love that story in the way that Nightwing is portrayed in that, and how he is on his way to take the mantle of Batman. 2, Rebirth, specifically the introduction of Raptor and that entire story. If you haven't read that story, I highly recommend it. There is a villain that shows up. His name is Raptor, and you find out that he has ties all the way back to Haley's Circus. So really, really cool story there. And of course, number 3 is a little bit out of the box, Smallville, because it is portrayed by a different character. In Smallville, Nightwing is actually Barbara Gordon.
Yeah.
And I wanted to choose that one just because it's like an Elseworld, but not really. And I just really like her character in that story. So those are my 3 stories for Nightwing. So what is your villain?
Mr. Freeze is my villain. And this is going to be, God dang, Chris. A Cold Day in Hell is the first one. First Snow is the second one. That one's by Scott Snyder. Very good. And the third one's Cold Case.
Cold Case is amazing by Tom King. It is absolutely amazing. I love it. I believe it was Lee Weeks is the artist on that one.
I think you're right. Yeah.
It is for a book that almost dropped off completely because of the craziness of everything that was going on with the Batman wedding at issue 50 was absolutely insane. But then to go from the fiasco that was the Batcat wedding to Cold Case, perfect. And you have this beautiful monologue that he has about how like him and his parents used to go to church and what that meant to him and all of this other stuff. And then Cold Case actually ends with him going back to his traditional costume.
Yeah.
So good.
Oh my god.
Absolutely love it. Love that story.
What's your villain, sir?
Honestly, quite possibly the only story I probably could have think of if somebody said, "Hey, think of all of the Mr. Freeze stories you can." Cold Case is probably my only one. I don't know many stories of Mr. Freeze whatsoever.
The other two are I barely. It's been so long, Clay. The Scott Snyder one I remember better, but it's been too long. We don't have. I want to get just his own book. Like there's a Man Bat book. I want a Mr. Freeze book, like for a big gigantic thing.
Chris can probably answer this because I know he is a really big guy on the omnibuses and everything else. Do they make those books anymore? You know, those like because you can say, hey, there's Superman, you get volumes, da 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 da. But I think I remember back in the day there would be a all things like you said, Man Bat, and it would get like a compilated compendium of all the Man Bat stories and just put it in a volume. I don't feel like they do that anymore.
I don't know if they do it for villains. I know they do it for heroes, like Snell get the Moon Knight kind of thing done. Yeah, but I don't know if they do it for villains. But hit me with your villain. You're keeping me in the
villain for Chris's question. This actually took a long time because for one, I thought I misread the question and thought of another villain. I was like, no, that's harder. The question is actually quite simple. Let me use this guy. My villain is Zod. Zod is quite possibly one of my favorite villains. Of course, he is the one of the biggest villains to my favorite superhero, Superman, which I couldn't use for my heroes. He said, not another version of Lex Luthor. Zod would be my villain. Chris says DC Collected Editions department is a cluster right now, and we are lucky to get much of those these days.
Shock.
So when it comes to Zod, my number one story was Last Son of Krypton. That story is amazing. Say what you will about Jeff Johns keeping the creator from the created separate on this. Last Son of Krypton is actually a really phenomenal story and co-written by Richard Donner. The second story, more recent, which I actually really enjoyed him as the villain in this story, was Green Lantern Corps from Rebirth. There was several arcs where Zod came in and was the villain. Just bringing him back into the universe and really using him for somebody outside of Superman, I really did enjoy. So that was really fun. And then having him not necessarily, I think it was reintroduced in the New 52, being Superman and Wonder Woman within the first arc of that title. I had a lot of fun with that as well. Just in a very much a Zod way, he introduces himself to Clark as like this helpless Kryptonian that needs help and everything else. But of course, he has the malicious mind, and Superman finds that out very, very quickly. So those are my three stories for Zod.
Thanks for the question, Chris. It was a doozy.
Really fun question.
Yeah.
So without sharing my screen, because we don't want Travis to
I've been
zip away.
I've been connected for quite a while now. It's been going good.
So let's go ahead. I think we can beat this before we need another ad break. We are going to our comics corner for the end of the show. This is Nightwing, A New Order 3 of 6.
Yeah, I was saying to Clay listeners, I wish it was 12 because I feel like there's so much more in this world that I want to find out about, and I don't think we have enough time after we finish this issue or volume. Sorry.
I honestly can't remember exactly how it ends as far as issue 6, so I couldn't even tell you if hey, more issues could possibly be in this. But overall, the universe that this Elseworld has created, I think it would be really fun to dive in other aspects. But this title for this third issue is Men and Women Were Meant to Walk, Not Fly. Of course, this is a Kyle Higgins story. We see the introduction of Kate.
Yes.
She is not a happy camper whatsoever. Because she does find out that Alfred is now dead. She knows, okay, Dick Grayson is not going to be happy about this. Keep him as comfortable as possible until I get there. And she is talking to, I forget this guy's name. I can't remember his name. Like Rudy or Bradley or
Rudy,
something.
I think, but jerk I call him.
He is a massive, massive jerk. Kate tells him specifically, do not go in and question him until I am there. And he basically says, F it.
But
and he walks.
You know he's going to do that though, Clay, because we've seen it a couple times in the the issues before. He has kind of like I want to say he's jealous of Nightwing Dick, first of all.
Yes, his name is Brady, by the way.
Yeah, Brady. And I also think just from way we've seen him, he thinks he can take Dick at any time. And we get that with the dialogue that's between them. It's easy to see why he's going to go on in and ignore that thing, because he thinks that there's nothing that Dick can do to him.
Yeah. And he goes and he questions Dick Grayson. He kind of pokes his buttons and he's really pushing. And, he does mention, like, don't give me this crap about where's Jake. You're the one that put my father away and I helped you do it. So you know what's going to happen to your son. And while this is going on, Dick Grayson is taking a staple out of his chair at the bottom of his chair. And he says, you're a washed up superhero. And Dick Grayson says, you're right. I am an old superhero, but I wouldn't say washed up. And that's when he shows the handcuffs, and Brady's just like, oh crap. And he just gets the beat down on him just super, super quick, knocks him out. And the way he gets out of the precinct is actually really, really cool. He is in full Nightwing mode at this time. He is able to get a baton. He takes out two commanders, or whatever they're called, crusaders. Sorry. He gets, into like a hoodie, the classic. He doesn't have a ball cap, the classic MCU, hey, hiding in plain sight ball cap and sunglasses. No, he gets a hoodie and starts walking off. You kind of see how he has, he has aged. So when he jumps out of this building, he does, whether he like bumps his knee or cracks his knee or whatever.
It's his shoulder.
No,
Maybe
it's his knee.
Okay.
It's his knee. Because you see both of his hands kind of like grasp
rough.
it.
More rough.
I mean, I'm 29 and my knees pop every single time I move them, so I know exactly how he is feeling right now. But he is figuring out a way to find out where Jake is, and who else would know? Well, you need a smart guy or girl. Maybe Oracle is around. Well, if Oracle's not around, got to go to Tim. We see Tim Drake.
We also got a picture of him on the cover in his Red Robin suit.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Tim Drake is in this house with 3 children. So it looks like he has grown up. He has children, and he, Nightwing or Dick Grayson comes unannounced and tells him everything that happened. Tim is like, hey, I understand. Let's try to find your son. They're able to find out where he's being transferred to. He's being transferred to Central City. And Dick Grayson's like, why would they do that? Like, we all know that Central City, the holding facility, has not been very well on the night shift. They keep getting bombarded. Just a small little, I guess that's a piece of dialogue that's just kind of seeded into there because of what happens in future events. But in order to get his son back, he's going to need some gear. So he goes to the Batcave.
We also got to talk about what happened to the Batcave after Bruce died. They took Wayne and his identity was revealed. Wayne Enterprises just made it into basically a theme park.
Yes, and for $40 a pop, you can take a tour of the first level of the Batcave, because nobody knows about the sub levels or the sub levels, which you actually see Dick Grayson jump over the railing and just fall all the way down amidst all of these
People.
tourists. And I'm just like, how did they not see that? Like, I don't know how, but nobody saw that.
Hit on a swivel. You gotta be paying attention.
Exactly. So you do see that the bio scanners, DNA scanners, did not forget who he is. So of course, everything is able to open when he scans his finger. He's able to get his suit. It looks like he gets some gauntlets and an old Nightwing motorcycle, which I think looks really, really cool. So at this point, we do actually see Kate is there at the precinct with Brady, and Brady just straight up lies to her. And he's like, and she's pissed off at Brady, but Brady's like, oh, I did exactly what you said. I offered him a cup of water and he hit me. Like, whatever.
She knows.
I do not like this guy whatsoever. But she basically has had enough with him. She's like, hey, no, you're sitting this one out. I am in full control now. And we get a little bit of a backstory. Of course, this whole story is narrated by Jake. So this is him kind of looking from the outside, looking in. So he's like, okay, well, they told stories about how my dad was probably one of the first heroes to fight alongside her when she was Batwoman. He liked my parents enough to be at their wedding, but, you know, she also had a military background and she got sucked into that. And then eventually my dad did whatever he did in Metropolis, and he had to team up with her and create the Crusader program, and the government wanted him to run it. And so you kind of see that there's like, I think Jake called it animosity.
Yeah,
is what he called it between them, because she didn't really get the credit for it because Grayson was the face of the Crusader program. But right here, this is when we get another hero that we get to see in this universe. We see a whole bunch of green spikes just pop out of nowhere because, lo and behold, John Stewart, in what looks like not only his Green Lantern uniform, but if you look closely on some other panels, he actually put like his U.S. medals on his collar and his chest.
Yeah, I know.
So he has, like, it's so weird to think about that. Like, Green Lanterns are in a jurisdiction that is more than just Earth. So, like, why would John Stewart want to even follow the laws of whatever this thing is?
So he come to Earth and visit his family?
Maybe.
That's probably that's the only way I can see it. Because, like you said, I don't know why you would stay on Earth if it become this. You would just go to another planet.
Yeah.
But maybe, like I said, you just must see his family. So
but he's demanding, like, hey, you know how things are. You know, you need to give up now and come with me peacefully.
She sent me so that you would go to talk to Kate.
Yeah.
And he knows that's not true at all.
Yeah. And Dick Grayson says, you know what? How about this? If you can promise me that Kate is going to give my son, like, just like
not put him in stasis, essentially.
Yeah, basically. And John was like, you know that's not going to happen. And he's like, cool. Well, then I'm not going with you. And he immediately hits him with this huge blast of light, which Dick Grayson says the gauntlets work outside the hard light spectrum. So he actually is able to fight against Green Lantern. And he's actually almost about to take off the ring of John Stewart. But John's like, oh, hell no. And starts beating him and beating him and beating him. There is a moment where he's actually, like, Dick Grayson is actually able to, like, electrify the gauntlets and get a few punches in.
But he takes that away really quickly.
Oh, yeah. But this older Nightwing just looks really badass because you see him in his hoodie and everything when he's on the motorcycle. But by the time the page flips, you see him in the entire Nightwing suit. and he just looks great. Like
Yeah.
long hair with the grays on the side. It looks really, really good.
But he looks great, but he's still basically a sitting duck there until
Yeah, until he actually gets whisked away from a very familiar speedster.
that we were investigating in the first issue.
And in the first issue, yes, that is Wally West with a crazy new suit. And you can probably assume who that character is right in front of Dick Grayson.
Artemis.
Did you say Artemis?
No, you mean with Wally?
Yeah.
Yeah. Or Stefan? No. Yeah.
No.
That's what I thought. I initially thought Artemis.
That's Corey. That's Starfire.
Oh, I thought it was. I honestly, because she didn't look like Starfire, I honestly thought it was Artemis.
Well, I just saw the red hair and the
green
green eyes and the orange skin.
Issue, and all I saw was the bow and arrow, and I thought, oh, it's Artemis. That's what I thought. I didn't look super in depth, and I was like, Artemis and Wally, I guess. Young Justice on the mind, Clay.
For sure.
Yeah,
but it looks really crazy because she is in some sort of like tactical suit. She is holding a gun, and she has super short hair, which is not something we normally see from Corey at all.
No.
So I love this book. I absolutely love this book. There is a reason why Nightwing is my second favorite hero in the DC universe, and this is no exception. Like this is a great series so far.
Oh, I couldn't agree more. I'm so glad that you picked this and it won. I'm really enjoying it. Like I said, I thought that was Artemis, but that's not going to make me like that. Just amps me up even more now knowing that it's Corey. Like that's I can't. I need to see their interaction next. Oh my god! Like awesome! I can't believe I missed that. But I'm loving this book. I don't want it to end. And like I was telling you before, I want to know more about the world and how, like, I would love to see a book about the 10 years of him or the time of him rounding up some metas. Like, I would love to see that. Like, I would love to see that.
The time in between would definitely be a fun little story for sure. Yeah. It looks like Brent joined us a little late on the podcast. He says, I joined and saw the question Joe put out an hour ago. Yikes. Looking forward to catching the rest in the morning.
Thanks, Brent.
Thank you. And we did answer your question as well, but you already know this because you've already listened to it at this point. But that is it for the episode, guys. Again, somehow we're able to push an hour and a half on these very slow weeks. I can only imagine what a heavy week will eventually look like I feel like 2022 is going to be a crazy year for us.
Oh, for sure. We have so many movies in production now, Clay. Not pre-production, not
actual production,
not in development, not we're telling you we're going to make this so there's no chance of it happening. They're actually being filmed. We'll have literally in the next 2 years, we're going to have 6 movies, my friend. Couldn't be more excited. I can't wait. These are some slow weeks, but like I said, we have a movie in a month. If we talk an hour and a half about just this news, we're going to talk 3 hours about that movie. So can't wait. We'll have some gifts for that too, obviously. Also, just one other note. I should have said this at the beginning. Like I said before, please review the DC Alliance podcast feed on your app of choice. We already have 2 reviews in the first week, which is nice to see. We'll be giving away a hardcover book to somebody with randomized number on August 12th when we review Superman and Lois.
Yes, which I am very much looking forward to. But with that, guys, thank you so much for listening, and we will see you guys next week.
Later, everyone.